What's going on, people? It's TRB, and I was reading this Road to Success, right? Wanted to see some of the things it had in it, but really it's just a whole Landstar book. Everything, 98, yeah, all of it's in here. All right, so I'm making this video because I was reading something in here, and it kind of sparked my interest. So the hurricane folks, right? So all the people that was in the hurricane, a lot of company was down there to supply the people with the needed necessities they needed in order to, you know, live their life day to day. Well, I started to think, like, how much do those FEMA loads pay? And as I started to think about how much those FEMA loads pay, I started to think, like, where do you go to get military contracts to pull for the military? You know, do you got to be owner-operated to pull for the military? Or can you be a lease on with the military, like a, you know, you can get a truck for quality and then go lease it on to whatever they, you know, as an example, of course, you can't do that. Well, I ain't gonna say of course. I don't know if you could do that or not. My hands probably ashy because I just got out the shower with people. I ain't put my coconut oil on. You know how I do with the coconut oil. But then I started thinking, like, what other products and services out there that we can do as drivers that makes $3, $4, $5, $6, $8 an hour, mile? You ever thought about that? Like, who hauls the diamonds? Who hauls the Federal Reserve money, the actual dollar bills? You know, somebody told me FedEx does it, which is cool because it's real inconspicuous, if I said that word right. But then I started thinking, like, I wonder how much was these FEMA loads actually paying people? Because, you know, anything that comes from the government, there's an upcharge to it. If that load would have normally been $2 a mile because it's government, it's probably gonna be $2.50. You know, so it went for, you know, not even that. If it's $2 a mile, it's probably gonna be like $4 a mile because it's the government. So I wanted to ask you, like, what's the most expensive freight that you think is being hauled around the United States of America? Have you ever thought about that? Like all these precious gemstones and stuff, as an example. These FEMA loads, these military contracts, when you see these flatbeds and stuff like that riding down with you know, freaking tanks on the back of the trucks. You know, I'm wondering how much, like, I was looking at the front of the magazine and it says, look at that right there. To haul the windmill, one blade from the windmill is a 199-foot windmill trailer expands Landstar capacity to haul. So I'm saying, I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot of truck to drive. Like, do you even turn? Like, what's the turn? Well, you know what? Yeah, that's when you start riding with the convoys and stuff, where they have the cars with the lights on them and stuff like that. You know, Landstar received top recommendation. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Truckloads Carriers Association. So Landstar has a load board? Check that out. Focus. I don't know. Anyway, it says Landstar load board WebEx demonstration. Contact whoop-de-whoop. And you know me about picking my own freight. I want to go a company where I can pick my own freight. You know, but I've been seeing a lot of Atlas and I've been seeing a lot of Landstar trucks lately. Riding around. Every now and then I see an interstate. Of course, you see Snyder from every blue moon. You know, but a lot of these people don't run on the West Coast. And that's where I think, like, I will make my money, is because a lot of these people don't run on the West Coast. A lot of these people run 35 and east of 35. You know? But I was just wondering that, like, what's a variety of freight that pays good money? You know, we think of the normal stuff, bumping the dock, getting loaded with, you know, TVs or like the people that haul, like the car haulers that haul Tesla cars. Are they getting paid really well? That's what I'm wondering. I know these windmill people got to be getting paid like out the yin yang. Wonder how expensive it is for them to ship a windmill, and how much did the driver make in order to take that windmill where it got to go. To the specialized truck for that? What's the weight, if anything? Hauling windmill blades across the country is a big task. even for the most experienced owner-operator. So you definitely got to be an owner-operator. It is a dedicated practice of planning and patience. It's a delicate practice of planning and patience. We have to do it slow and steady. It takes a great deal of patience. If you do not have patience, you can't do the job. You know, that's what they say. That's what they say. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there, put that on your mind. Hey, look at all the pigs, look at all that bacon. I'm about to eat some of y'all right now when I make me a ham sandwich, Black Forest ham sandwich. But yeah, just think about that. What freight is out there that pays really good? Like specialized freight, high value freight. That freight that you're not gonna be parking at the truck stop. You know, what are some of the things that pays really good when it comes to hauling freight? Forget all this, you know, bumping the dock and getting Gatorade or something like that. Let's get to the big money and where the big money at. And the only way you're really gonna hear about the big money is either you got to do a lot of research, or you got to be in that frame of mind. Meaning, if you're leased and you're seeing you only getting $1.80 or $2, $2.25, and then you look over at this Landstar guy and he's getting, you know, $2.50, $2.75 to haul the same load. Well, how is he doing that? You know, or you see some of these military guys is driving these fancy Peterbilts that be all clean and shiny. You know, what kind of contract is that? How do you get those contracts? Where do you find those contracts? Is it all word of mouth? Is there a website you can go to in order to get these type of contracts? How do you bid on a contract? You know, that's something you probably should start thinking about, especially if you're the type of person that's trying to get your own truck and own DOT number. It's something you probably should start thinking about. Where, how, and why. Why? And I say why is because you got to understand, like, why did this person get that contract and you didn't? Did they underbid you or what? You know, how hard is it in order to get those contracts? You know, is it a family thing? Like, hey, it's kind of like the trains. You know, you see the Union Pacific. You know, a lot of those people is generational workers. You know, like he worked and his son worked there, then his daughter worked there, then his son worked there, and so on and so forth. So I'm wondering with these contracts, is it the same way? Because, you know, they are not doing YouTube. Because they too busy making all kinds of money. They ain't doing YouTube. So I'm wondering, how would I get into that type of contract work? Yeah, you can work with a freight broker, but what freight brokerage do you work with to get those military contracts? And how do you bypass the freight brokers in order to get that contract on your own? Get what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm trying to think past this $1.50, $2 a mile stuff. Let's think big, people. Let's see where, how, and why. Why are you settling for the $2 when there's probably contracts out there to get more? Is it because you're not in a financial position in order to have your own truck yet? Perfectly understandable. You know, is it just that you're not asking because you're comfortable where you're at? Perfectly understandable. You know, but that's something I'm going to start looking into. Again, this is TRB, trying to do these daily vlogs, letting y'all know what's going through my mind. Again, this whole magazine right here is all the Landstar magazine. FEMA loads. Like, if you think about it, hurricanes hit at least once or twice every year down in Florida all the way up the East Coast. The risk that you have to take with your equipment by going into those environments where the hurricane is or was, you got all that standing water, you know, like my Freightliner, the exhaust pipe points to the ground. You know, do you have to keep that in mind? Or do you want pipes that point straight up in the air, so when you do run over high, you know, where the water's real high, you run over it, you ain't got to worry about choking your engine out because your exhaust pipes go up instead of point down like the Freightliner that I'm in. You know, FEMA loads, I would assume the FEMA loads pay good money though. But I'm just assuming, I don't know, I'm a rookie. Some of the things that pass through my mind is TRB, baby, how you doing? About to get ready to roll. I'll holler at you. Thank you for stopping by. Peace.